My family took me to the park when I was 9 weeks old. I was so excited. I got to meet other dogs and smell so many new scents. I didn't know that an invisible danger was lurking. Parvovirus particles were in the soil where another sick dog had been. The virus is extremely hardy and can survive in the environment for months or even years. These tiny particles found their way into my body as I sniffed and explored. Parvovirus targets rapidly dividing cells, especially in the intestines, bone marrow, and heart in very young puppies like me. For about 3 to 7 days after exposure, I seemed perfectly fine. My family had no idea that the virus was multiplying inside me. During this time, I could already spread the virus to other dogs even though I didn't look sick. About a week after our park visit, I started feeling very tired. I didn't want to play with my toys anymore. My family noticed I wasn't eating my food, which wasn't like me at all. I just wanted to lie down all the time. My family took my temperature and found I had a fever of 104 degrees Fahrenheit 40 degrees Celsius. They were getting worried about me. The next day, I started having terrible diarrhea. It was watery and had a very strong smell. It even had blood in it. I was also vomiting repeatedly. I couldn't keep any food or water down. I was getting very weak and dehydrated. My eyes looked sunken, my gums were dry and tacky instead of wet and slippery, and when my family gently pinched my skin, it stayed up instead of bouncing back. My family rushed me to the veterinarian. The vet suspected parvovirus right away based on my symptoms and age. They performed a test called ELISA on my feces, which confirmed their suspicion I had parvovirus. The veterinarian explained that parvovirus attacks the intestinal lining, bone marrow, and sometimes the heart. It damages the intestines, causing severe diarrhea and vomiting, which leads to dehydration. It also affects the bone marrow, lowering white blood cell counts and making it harder for my body to fight the infection. I had to stay at the hospital. The veterinarian placed in 4 catheter to give me fluids that would help with my dehydration. They also gave me medications to control my vomiting and antibiotics to prevent secondary bacterial infections. I was placed in an isolation ward to prevent spreading the virus to other dogs. The veterinary staff wore special protective clothing when they came to take care of me, and they cleaned everything thoroughly afterward. After several days of intensive care, I started to feel better. I began to take small amounts of easily digestible food and was able to keep it down. My diarrhea improved and I started to get my energy back. After a week in the hospital, I was able to go home, but I still needed careful monitoring and a special diet. My family had to keep me away from other dogs for at least 2 more weeks to make sure I wouldn't spread the virus. The veterinarian explained to my family how this whole scary experience could have been prevented. 1. Vaccination. Puppies should receive a series of parvovirus vaccinations starting at 6 to 8 weeks of age, with boosters every 3 to 4 weeks until 16 weeks of age. 2. Limited exposure. Puppies should not be taken to public places where other dogs have been until they have completed their full vaccination series. 3. Hygiene. Proper cleaning with appropriate disinfectants can kill the virus in the environment. My family thoroughly cleaned our home with a bleach solution, 1:30 dilution, to kill any remaining virus particles. Today, I'm a healthy, fully grown dog with all my vaccinations up to date. My family is now very careful about making sure all my shots are current, and they educate other dog owners about the importance of vaccination and prevention. Remember, parvovirus is deadly but preventable. Proper vaccination, hygiene, and awareness can protect your puppy from this dangerous disease.